Hey, I'm Decathlon Gimber. Welcome back to FM22. It's Youth Factory, and this is episode 74. I'm filming this on the day that it's been announced the release of FM23, but no news yet regarding what is coming out, partially being delayed with, in respect to what's going on with the Queen at this point. She is alive. I don't know if she will be alive by the time you see this or not, but anyway, back to the game. It's 2038 now. So as we've had another edition of the world's best released, and it's not quite relevant to us yet, but we are entering top flight Norwegian football now. At some point, we may have somebody making this list. At some point. Not yet. Our time is not yet, but we are down to, within the top 10, it's all new gens, except two players that were quite young and only slightly known quantities in the case of one, and that's Yusufa Muakoko. I've heard the name a few times. Now, in real life, he's just turned 17 and plays for Borussia Dortmund. So he's in the Bundesliga. So far in the 2022-2023 season, he's played 4 matches and scored 1 goal, has 1 assist. But he's still very, very young. Now, in the game, he's rated as the 3rd best player in the world with 19 finishing, 19 technique, 20 composure, 20 balance, and a number of other very, very good attributes. Marking and tackling, leadership, jumping reach are kind of the only things that he does not excel in, the model citizen player who's now 33. But down in 8th place, the only other known quantity and mid-30-year-old player who is still around is Jude Bellingham, now at Liverpool. Muakoko is at Real Madrid these days. Bellingham, the now 35-year-old English player, is at Liverpool. You can see he definitely started to slip down a bit in his mid-30s here, but still excellent mental attributes. Technically never the most gifted. I mean, he's got a 17 first touch, 17 passing, 17 technique is all. You can see why he's definitely down the list a little bit, but he is labeled as a legendary midfielder. Other than that, you can see that it's still the usual suspects. Barcelona, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Chelsea, PSG, and Man City contain all 10 of the best players in the world. Not only have we claimed the glory of promotion to the top flight, but our under-19s have won. They have claimed the under-19s Group 1 title this year, so they are the best under-19s program out there. But of course, we still have that glaring issue that all these teams around us have B squads, C squads in between that U19s and their top flight. And we're still very much stuck with that scenario. We have U19s, and then you have to go straight into the senior squad. Hence, so many players going out on loan that are in that in-between stage for us. But, it's working. It's working, especially now that we've turned professional. Our growth and development has been phenomenal this year compared to any other season that we've had. I don't know how soon we're going to be competitive at the top flight. We could be a yo-yo club at this stage, but it's quite clear, it's quite evident how rapidly we're growing now that they get to play daily as opposed to just training a couple times a week. Bergam claimed Player of the Year. Homedale claimed Young Player of the Year. And we set a new record for highest position, obviously, as we are getting promoted for the first time. We actually didn't have as many wins, and we equaled the number of wins from a couple seasons back. But the huge difference was turning losses into non-losses, into ties. We had so many, 11 this season. 15 wins, 11 draws, and just 4 losses. And that was the big difference. It was actually only 1 point more than what we had a year ago. But a year ago, I think we only missed things by a point. Goal differential was +4 in comparison. We were a little more solid, a little more sound. Not quite as prolific on top. But defense massively improved. I mean, you could see we barely made marginal gains over the previous 4 years. going from 44, just inching down to 40 goals. And then we cut it by 11 this last year. And of course, we're going to a higher division. It's going to be so much tougher in that top flight. We've seen a lot of teams yo-yoing, so the potential for that is very much there. Sondale, who just won the league this season, won the top flight about 5 or 6 years ago, and somehow ended up relegated and yo-yoing. So it is quite competitive. It is going to be quite difficult. I think our huge improvement in defense is going to go kind of right back down. But being in the top flight, being professional, and if we can finally, push to get the training facilities upgraded, and, it doesn't take the whole season to make that happen if it happens early in the year, we might see development to the point of survival, development to the point of, getting by and then becoming established in the next year or two. Bergam has set a new record with a 7.74 rating. That's league record. One of the only sad things is we didn't actually get the Golden Boot for the league. We were second. But unlike the other guy who had 0 assists, Bergam had 8. Our yearly visit from Eden arrives, and this year our youth setup cost us $4,028,000. So that is going to be a hefty chunk of money going back into the coffers covering that youth setup. Now, of course, in summary, that's on top of the $310,000 we still have. We nearly got down to 0, and in fact, we kind of finished the same place where we were a year ago. But the big difference is from a year ago, our start point was a lot lower. We were at 2.83, and then last year we were at 3.96. We're going to be at 4.3-ish this year, so it is definitely increasing. But this year, not as much as in years past. But of course, we were in that tier. We did hire some staff, and we did go professional over the last year. So that is going to come with some cost that didn't necessarily make us more money. But outside of that youth setup, it didn't really cost us more either. Now that we're making the jump to the highest level, I don't know what the prestige jump is from the top tier to the second tier, but I'm guessing that it's fairly significant jump, which means we should see a pretty big increase in our crowd sizes, and that extra revenue and the extra revenue of just being in the league, TV rights, things of that nature, should make a pretty hefty difference. Now, we're going to have some increased expenses. There's already 2 new staff members. I might upgrade a couple of the staff members we have, and then new salaries for some players. Not all. Most don't have clauses for increases by going up because nobody expected us to go up. But a lot of them are turning around now and asking that question of, hey, I've been a long-term servant of the club. You want to pay me more, right? Knowing that there's going to be more money coming in. So bit of a trade-off on that one, but we'll see how that winds up in the end. Right now, we are currently spending $376,000. Our payroll for the year is $2.2 million. So you can see where a lot of them are coming from on wanting more. But that also should come with significantly more income this coming year. Something very different. But let's go ahead and inject that cash, and then in the near future, maybe first of the year, might have a chat with the board about getting some work done. New Year's Day, we're going to go straight in and ask improved training facilities. We've got a balance of $4 million. You can easily upgrade from level 3 training facilities without touching much of that, going well below what that is. But we're still not seen as being, good in the finances. So I don't know if, the fact that we're now on the top flight is going to make the club happy, or whether we're going to have to be here for a year and generally bring in some solid money before they're going to work with us. But, we do have that 20 determination. We should be a bit more influential than we've been in trying to make this happen. In what has felt like an age, we have finally hit our intake day, and what was initially a 4.5-star projection is that 5-star excellent intake. We've got a couple defensive mids, a few strikers, a couple center backs, and then one pretty much everywhere else other than a couple of wingbacks, which we don't use in our formation anyway. So, okay. That's good, and it looks like we have at least one player, if we use him as a striker anyway, who could potentially be ready to go immediately with 2.5 stars. Now, we clearly do have some players, including a goalkeeper, who are not going to be good enough, so we will be letting go some of these players right away. I've already started to make some room in the under 19s. You can see here outside of the grayed out, not actually on the team goalkeeper, we've trimmed the U19s down quite a bit. I got rid of a few players. I have a bunch of players that are listed, and then I promoted the others into the senior squad, where I'm working on getting rid of some guys. We only have a few that are out on loan so far. We're down to just a couple of players that are below that 50 mark, and all of those, or pretty much all of those that are in that 50 to 60 range, are offered out for loan. Most of them anyway. The couple of exceptions, Severette, at 32, I don't think anybody's going to want to take him on loan, but, maybe. He's only balanced. So he and Lovas, neither one is really going to play a mentoring role terribly well, but we have a new deal for Severette in place. I don't want to make him upset, as he is influential. Same with Lovas. They're both very influential, so I'm trying to be really careful on how I handle their exit, because now that they're into their 30s and are this far below everybody else, it's time to move on from them. The only other players that are in this bottom set that are older and probably need to be parted ways with, Calzi, even though he's got that high potential at 32, it was too late for us going professional. So Calzi is somebody we're going to want to part ways with sooner rather than later. Hagensen, especially with the low potential and already 26. We're going to be letting him go. He's listed. Harstead I thought about, but we're hanging on to Harstead for now. Dubois, I think, is somebody... No. Oh. I listed him, and he tried to unlist himself, and I said, no, we're keeping with it. He's unlisted now. So I need to get him relisted. We've collected a small amount of cash so far. Right now, we've got Spencer Mason leaving for, I think it was like 20,000 or close to 20,000, going to Crew. He is English, with Norwegian as a secondary, and so he'll be heading out soon when their transfer window opens. Otherwise, we do have three players that were in the U19s last year that are going to feature into the side this year. Players that, as soon as we turn professional, developed very rapidly. I think one of them did go out on loan late last season. The other two were dominating play down at the U19s level, and we let them finish the year out so that they could grow and develop before bringing them into the side. Those three guys are Christian Hole. He's a 76 overall already. You can see strong first touch, passing, technique, very good mental attributes already, and okay in other areas. He's definitely a come off the bench kind of guy right now, even though he's got some quality. Mirbakken coming in, and I think he was the one that I did allow to go out on loan last year. He's a center mid. Technically, the passing is great, and he's got plenty of 8s and 9s. Not fantastic, but mentally he's already there. Natural fitness, stamina is already there. He is fairly determined, so hopefully he can grow pretty rapidly. And he's into the starting 11. We've had that one huge hole that was Lovas on top, and I moved Homedale into that. And then that made a hole at right mid. Jonas Gay has moved back out to that position, which opened up a center mid spot. Now, much of this last season, when we needed, and we were already kind of on those changes, it was Hermanson who was filling that role. Mirbakken has a 143 potential and is just 19. If we can get him in there, start getting him some appearances, hopefully he'll take off and develop quite rapidly. He's got a few things going for him, but he definitely needs more. So he's our questionable one in the lineup at the moment. But otherwise, Olim, the third guy, straight into the side, center back, Fawoli to the bench. Fawoli really can't develop anymore, and that's good for us because that means Gillo is out of being a regular, and it's really going to start pushing us in the right direction. Lee Haug is somebody I want to go. We've already got some bids in for loans to increase his value, but Lee Haug has no real position. You can see he's got 3 listed positions there, but he doesn't fit in the defense. He doesn't fit in at forward. He's just got some attributes here and there that has him, better than some other guys. But he's got some value. We had him up for sale. Nobody wants to buy him right now. We've got an offer for loan, so they're going to pay all of his salary. So let him go there, develop a little bit more, come back to us as a 75 who's still probably not going to fit in at any particular position, and then hopefully we can sell him, next year. The league prestige isn't really that high. Yes, we're seeing a lot of clubs yo-yoing, but there's not a significant difference top tier to second flight, and it at least does look one thing promising that we have doubled our ticket sales from a year ago, but it's still really low. I mean, 262 is not high at all. I don't know why we struggle so much with season ticket holders. We get plenty of people coming to games, but they're they pay for 1 or 2 tickets at a time and not for a whole season. It would be really helpful if we could do more of that, but it's still double what it was. And here's our first look at the intake itself. Not actually looking very good, other than the fact that the current ability of some of these guys is much better than what we've seen in the past. Stormo, Anderson, Kildall, all just about ready to contribute immediately. 71, 71, 68 current abilities. I mean, these are guys that could potentially play now. So we have that, and those 3 all definitely have some potential, but there's a huge drop-off in some others. Huge drop-off. So there's going to be a lot of guys eliminated here very quickly. Let's go ahead and bring that list on down. And the final tally is just 6 players. 1 center back, 1 defensive mid or center mid, 1 striker. We've got, let's see, where are you going to be best fit? Probably midfield center. Yeah, center mid. And then we've got a left mid, I suppose right mid as well there too. And another, where are you going to fit in? Center mid? We need to get him training as a center mid here. So, yeah, not great that we only actually get 6 players. The only real difference that I've noticed this year to previous seasons is that current ability is definitely higher. I mean, we've got guys that are closer, if not already ready, fed virtually anybody we've ever had. I mean, I remember Homedale was pretty high. I know Fawoli was very high. Fawoli was in the low 60s when he came in quite a few seasons ago. But this, good for the U19 squad. I mean, it's good size. Plenty of guys here, plenty of potential here, and we've definitely, eliminated some players. We're kind of pushing into a new realm of expectation for our U19s. So for that part's good. And, you can see there's not too many older players in this squad. Really, not that many at all. And, a couple of these guys are 90s and, might be gone. So, the number of candidates versus the number of graduates, that group's shrinking. But we're also seeing an impact here at the senior squad with some guys that are getting ready early. We've got a 20-year-old, 23-year-old, a 17, a 20, a 19, a 19, and an 18-year-old in that top group of players. And none of them are that old. 28 is Bergam. Bergam's the oldest one, unless you count Osby at 31. And okay, fine, let's count Osby. But Osby, his 71-23 really isn't great, so we are going to be looking to replace him very soon, with an eligible candidate. Our problem is Modeste is our best backup, of course, but he's got one position. I'm working on making that too. I'm working on adding right mid to that, so we have a good solid backup at both of those positions. Genkarzik isn't really very good at anything. He's tolerable, and that's it. And then Lehaug's going to be on his way out because he said he doesn't actually fit any position. But Heisted, he's getting there. He's improving. Wolf has improved enough to now be the top backup, and I am excited by these three new prospects and how they're going to add to the squad. And overall, we had a fair number of holes in the squad even last year. Those three guys, I think, are going to help plug the gaps on that. And if they do take off, if they do develop rapidly, those combined with the existing guys may do enough to get us out of trouble this season. I think Modeste and above, that 83 plus, are guys that can maybe just about hang at this level. There's 7 there. That means 6 starters. But if Hole and Murbachen and Olim take off, and then Bergam's only a 74, yet, it's Bergam. See how he fares at the higher level. But he, with Homedale, I think should be pretty dang good. But I do worry about how we're going to do at this level. I may find in the early games that we need to start training a new tactic that is a bit more defensive. But our whole idea is not sitting back and absorbing everybody else's. Being aggressive, being positive is what got us to this level despite not being good enough. Staying at this level, I think, is going to still require that same mentality. We have to still be aggressive. We still have to be on the front foot. That's going to do it for this episode, though. We are ready to kick off the new season when we get back in next time. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.